What is going on, everybody? Beer Buddy is back. That's right. And I'm back with a vengeance, baby, because we are here to do some promotion. Promotion for Ram It Down Fest. This is a new once a month festival that is out in the southwest of Sydney, my home ground, and I'm so happy that stuff like this is back out this way. It is awesome. Now, this is the second one going down. Last month was pretty good, but we're here to make it better and make sure your bums are in the seats to come see these fucking awesome bands. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's crack a cold one. Oh, because that's how we rolling.
I mean, I got a hot one over here.
I got my favourite drug here.
I can't wait to chat to these guys. Now, if you know me and you've seen the Two Dudes Talk Music podcast, and don't forget to go check out Metal Ruse because we're doing work over there now too, I die on this hill. Australian progressive metal is the best. No other country does it better. Fight me. I'll fight you on you. Fight that on. I'll fucking die on that hill. As simple as that. And these guys are doing something special. Because I'll tell you, it's something different. Something like I've never really heard before, because progressive metal sort of steps into really like rockish sort of territories. But these guys don't do that. These guys don't do that at all. This is progressive metal. These guys are fucking really good. Their first track that came out in 2022 was called, where is it? Was called Heavy Metal Awesome Sandwich. And with that song, I'll tell you what, I got to listen to that first. I was hooked. Their latest single out at the moment, I hope I get this right, Ramiro Romano, is out, and that's an absolute cracker too. But without further ado, we're going to talk to the headline act for Ram It Down Fest. Let's get into it. We are here with Ross, Craig, and JJ from T-Rex Autopsy. What a name. How you going, boys?
Good morning, mate.
Good morning, mate.
Mate, I am so stoked to be able to talk to you guys, because half the reason I love doing this shit is because when shows like this come up, and now with obviously Spotify and all that cool stuff, you can listen to it straight away and you can find these really cool bands. Where the fuck did this concept come from, guys?
This gentleman over here, Craig.
Yeah, brain ideas.
He's the brainchild of T-Rex Autopsy. When did you first start it?
Yeah, it's like there's been different iterations and different formations of what became T-Rex Autopsy. Originally, it was just me and this Polish guy, older than me, grew up in the arse end of communism in Poland, and we bonded when we worked together over mutual likes like Sepultura and Pantera, Tomahawk, Mike Patton shit, and we're jamming that. And then it was just from that, he's living in New Zealand now. So from there, then I ended up recruiting another guy that I met at UWS, and we bonded over mutual political and philosophical leanings, and also loved the same sort of music. And then eventually Ross, who I'd been for years saying, Ross, come play my band. He eventually joined, and then we got JJ, and then, yeah. There's been a slow process. As you're saying, it's like it's new, but it's kind of old, because there's a lot of stuff that was just, a lot of riffs that were just in the jam room, and then just evolved naturally. And then, I guess, more thought and time and effort was put in it. But I guess, to answer your question, I like to steal from the best, hopefully. Appropriate the best and discard the rest.
Ooh.
It's like
Ben, I got to tell
other people have.
Could I just, Ben, I tell you, what I'm picking up is like Mr. Bungle, Sublime. Geez, I didn't even like. You've got like probably a bit of like a Cannibal Corpse-esque sort of stuff in there too.
100%.
Like, it's just, and you hear all those influences and they come through so well. And not just that, you take sort of Arabic sort of sounds that you put into the music as well. It goes a bit tribal in some parts. It's so interesting on so many different levels. The production value is just top notch. What goes into recording all this stuff? And I love the way you guys actually do your releases with singles and that too.
Well, that was a new thing for me that I was brought around to, because I guess I'm old school. I still use DVDs and go to the library and only use Spotify as a streaming service, which is a bit of a scumfuck organisation, but we get to that later. Ross was one of the ones who kind of latched me onto why don't we release things as singles? It gets the stuff out sooner. I mean, I still like albums where you have a homogenized sort of package and a artistic vision, so you can kind of like, I don't know, I like all the liner notes and all that shit as well. But I was like, we are living in a different day and age. I mean, this recording process has been a bit different for me, where a lot of it's been sitting down in front of a computer. I usually like the sorry, the dog's scratching at the door.
Yeah, that's all right.
Master, stop
I
it.
plan to not talk as much as I do because I'll fucking waffle on. But
No, go.
I like, in a way, we've embraced a sort of methodology that I have had resistance towards, which was, getting everything done individually. Whereas I usually like the idea of like a live drum kit and a bass player recording maybe in two different rooms, or the amps are in different rooms, and then you just, I like the old production old Sepultura, where it was just like you be as tight as possible, but you let the floors be there, and then because a lot of modern metal production is just so clinical and precise that it makes it less heavy for me. That's just me.
In some sense, I do agree with you, but the tunings are just getting so low. You need to be able to isolate in so many different levels. Like, because I completely agree with you. I'm a part of that old school sense myself. Like, you look at even like something like the Offspring or something like that, and especially Sepultura, the Roots album, that they recorded that all in one room kind of deal, and it was done that old school way where it was pretty much a live recording in some senses, but then they just, obviously, yeah, they loop it up and do all that sort of stuff. And look, I say this I've said this at nauseum so many times, that the art, the in some ways I'm part of I have this weird sense that the ability for people to be able to write a good album from front to back is slowly dying. You know?
Yeah.
I would love to see like a concept EP from you guys. That would be really interesting. But with what you guys are doing, waterfall releases are perfect because it doesn't limit you to having to do that concept thing where everything sort of has to. You can just write what you feel, and if it's good, it's good, and then there's nothing to. But if you guys were to do a concept, I think a concept album or a concept EP from you lot would be something special. But it'd have to be.
That's kind of in the works anyway.
Yeah. There you
That's
go.
actually kind of in the works for the next set of releases and the next set of recordings. But just to touch on the point on the drip feeding of the music, I actually took that idea because of the concept of Spotify, and all these bands that I discovered just through these daily mixes and the collection of music that's aligning up with what you're listening to. And the biggest influencer to that was actually Polyphia and how they were drip feeding their music. I'd never really listened to any of their albums before, let alone the God riff that had come out. I'd listened to it, but I wasn't interested in it necessarily. But then when they released their latest singles and their latest album, I was hooked. I was like, Tim Henson, holy shit, who the fuck is this motherfucker?
Yeah.
I've never heard of you before. And then that put me on a pathway of listening to other Australian acts because Tim Henson worked with Pliny. So then that got me onto Pliny. Then I started listening to all that sort of instrumental, which then put me onto Animals as Leaders. And
Instrumental Adjective, just giving a shout out to Australian progressives.
Yeah, Instrumental Adjective.
Man, look, like I said it before, I love Australian progressive metal. I appreciate what Tool have done within the metal scene and stuff like that. But me personally, I am not a Tool fan. I'm a Perfect Circle fan.
Yes, APC for the
But
win.
if like Tool were going to come out next week, I'm not going to be busting down Ticketek's door to go get a ticket, if you know what I mean. So yeah, and look, to each their own. I've been to a Tool live set and they do amazing work. I completely get it, but it just doesn't tickle my pickle. But when you put Australian progressive rock or metal or anything like that in front of me, for some reason, we just do it that little bit different. It's a little bit more structured, and it just seems to sit so much better with me.
Did you go to Monolith?
No.
That, for me, was the best festival I have been to over the last 18, 19 years. Single stage, one location, one stage presence with all these progressive metal acts, and it was amazing. Carnival headlined it with Cog.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Never got the opportunity to actually see them. And then I'd listened to them. I wasn't the biggest fan necessarily. Craig here is a big Cog fan.
I'm a massive Carnival
and then I
fan.
Their
was
first record is
Look,
excellent.
Cog are
And
amazing.
Carnival's
They're
great.
playing Wallapalooza. For anyone out there in Queensland, just to let anyone know, they're playing Wallapalooza up in Queensland. Probably shouldn't be promoted that while I'm promoting this, but hey, we got to spread the love.
But yeah, it was like you said. The progressive metal scene, especially in Australia, Sleep Makes Waves was phenomenal, and then you had Plenty, and then you had Ocean Grove as just pure just metal in between all of that, and it was just a great community. It was beautiful, and then you got other bands like the Butterfly Effect, Caligula Horse.
Oh, we had
You
them all.
know, like
Awesome
it's a little
dudes.
bit more modern, but yeah, it's amazing. We've
Yeah.
got such a great music scene here in Australia.
It is, and it's such an untapped resource, and this is why I try and do what I do here, and we do over on Metal Ruse and Two Dudes Talk Music as well. It's such an untapped resource, and we are just so looked over because it's such an asshole to get to us.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
we admit that we know it is, but the scene is coming back in such a big way. People I feel like the thing that happened a couple of years ago, as much as it was a bad thing, I feel like a lot of people pulled out the old CDs and stuff like that when they had time to sit at home and really delve back into their old musical taste. And a couple of kids might find mum and dad's CDs and just going, "What the heck were you lot listening to?" And just a lot of young people are getting out to these things now. I'm 30. I'm in my mid-30s, so like getting back, it's just so awesome to see people getting out to these shows again. What is a T-Rex Autopsy show like, and also where the fuck did that name come from?
Okay, so our shows can be depends. Some shows we do even we've done a couple where they're more folk orientated. So again, incorporating more of the Middle Eastern classical and folk instruments, and yeah, I guess stealing from those traditions and trying to incorporate them into a way. Because for me, that Middle Eastern classical and North Indian classical, Afghani classical, some of the most metal music you can have on the face of the planet. But then I call everything metal if it's got the essence of metal. I don't know. I grew up weird listening to Creedence Clearwater Revival in the '90s and thought them and the Doors was metal as fuck, and Jimi Hendrix and all that. And then I discovered Rage Against the Machine. I was like, oh, this is like modern Hendrix. But so we've done shows like that. Other shows then are a little bit of that, and then just I guess your death thrash groove sort of stuff with a lot of high energy because I do for me take influence from I guess your hardcore punk, metal punk bands like I guess the stage show presence of like Bad Brains or Lamb of God or Pantera or all that. Whereas like, if you're not enjoying yourself, Dillinger Escape Plan as well, of course.
Dillinger, 100%.
It's like I know I've broken my foot performing at least once, where
I had a
circle pit in the fucking pizza, what the fuck, Frankie's Pizza,
Oh wow!
and then I'm getting a little bit more conservative with my body now as I get older and all these injuries keep catching up with me. But I mean, the last gig we played, I fell into the wall and then I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to mosh into the wall and keep moshing into the wall and slam into it a couple of times because fuck it, whatever, I'm an idiot. So yeah, generally as high energy as possible, but we try and throw curveballs at the audience, but then, because for me what's kind of boring is if you end up being on a bill with every single band is the same sub-genre of a sub-genre and we're all just carbon copying each other, it's like, okay, not everybody at your show is necessarily going to be balls deep in that subgenre, and unless you're absolutely knocking it out of the park with songwriting or musicianship or showmanship, you do need some curveballs in terms of songwriting. So
Well, you guys do throw a lot in there, and I'm sorry about the person mowing their lawn out in the out the
it's all
back.
good. We
I'm
have
probably
our
gonna get
dog.
that all in the audio, but shit happens.
how dare you have lawn maintenance next door?
I'm probably gonna have to do mine later, but that's not why we're here. Have you heard of Bloodywood?
Oh yes,
Yes,
yeah.
Good. But yes, with this whole thing, you guys throw so many curveballs. I can only imagine, like with this sort of, I guess, limited, I guess, sort of releases. How much of what you get on Spotify and then what you see in a set is one within the other?
It's pretty close at the moment. Just digressing quickly, like these releases were all meant to be on an album together, and then we're hopefully going to compile and package them all together. And then the theme was to get back to the name T-Rex Autopsy. The other fella Tony, who's not here today, who Ross has been picking up a lot of his parts and doing a tremendous job of. He's the guy who suggested the name. We were together at the Australian Museum for a mammoth exhibition. And all these woolly mammoth bones and whatnot and stuff like that, and big fucking giant ice polar bears from back in the day, and dire wolves and whatever else, and mastodons, of course, which is obviously pretty metal. There's another group of people we rip off as well, or steal from.
Mastodon.
But yeah, they've got Australian. Sorry, I'm waffling, but Australian Geographic, no, Nat Geographic in the Australian Museum, they did a collaborative project where they like made a giant T-Rex and then they filmed a documentary of autopsying it, and it's still currently there. And we're walking around, and Tony turned to me because I had like a list of 100 different names. There were all these wanky fucking names that nobody can pronounce or fucking remember how to spell. Or
Bashari.
Yeah, all these. Bashari's a good name. That's where Tony's from.
That was my first. That was my go-to.
Anyway, I have all these wanky fucking proggy kind of names of just, I read books. I'm a fucking wanker. And nobody can remember this shit. And Tony was like, why don't we call ourselves T-Rex Autopsy? And I was like, that's absurd. And I like the absurdity. And it's catchy and you can remember it. And sure, why not? And my arguments
love dinosaurs.
Yeah, and I love dinosaurs because, again, I'm a kid. And
Yeah, to be fair, who doesn't love dinosaurs? Like, let's be
fucking
honest, dinosaurs are cool.
Plus, you can do
influence,
cool designs like this.
Yeah, the merch concepts you guys could have is just off the hook. Is off the hook. So we can obviously pick up merch on the night too.
We should. We've got some left.
Yeah,
we need to do another order.
We're doing another order, so we're going to get some more shirts. We'll have like the heavy metal awesome sandwich with where the fuck the mayo on the back of it.
I love that song, man.
Where the fuck's the mayo?
Where is the fucking mayo? Why is the mayo
Let's
always
say,
gone? Why is the
It was
mayo
in the fridge
always
actually.
gone?
If you've never seen Disney's Fantasia, the original, the 1940s one, it's like beautiful animation. It's the best thing and probably the last greatest thing that Disney's ever done. It's all to different classical music, but Stravinsky's the writer Springer's done to then Evolution and then Dinosaurs. So I kind of like, that's kind of maybe the main influence in a way of like as a 6-year-old seeing that with highly rhythmic Meshuggah rhythms that are really dissonant, and then Dinosaurs. I mean, like what kid isn't then going to later get into Meshuggah?
Yeah, true.
True.
Just to come back on your point about what we try and bring to a show is that we're just also trying to bring all the stylistic approach of music that we enjoy and what we've grown up with. I think when you pigeonhole yourself to a particular genre or a subgenre, people are going to listen and they can walk into a room. And I remember listening to this a while ago that someone could walk into a room and they hear the first track, they walk out, have a cigarette and come back in, and it feels like the first song is still being played. So we want to present a set, or we want to present our music in a way that, if you walk out and you come back in, you're going to hear something new. You're going to hear our thrash elements. You're going to hear the deathcore metal elements. You're going to hear these ethno jazz bits that Craig has, brought to the band, and then the Arabic scales as well. Because it's different. You can make it so metal at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it sits so well, especially like when you come from Sydney and stuff like that. It's a melting pot of cultural ideas, and when you present that in music as well, just it's such a good thing to do. It is such a good thing to do because it shows your appreciation to other people's music and other cultures' music, and B, it shows that when you are listening to it, you can actually appropriate it to some good ideas and make it fun and put it into new music and get people to listen to it in a different way. It's awesome. It's such a good concept. I love what you guys are doing, man. I'd like to ask one little question. If there's any piece of musical advice that you could give yourself when you were younger,
don't be stuck in whatever a lot of music is, or whatever people think they like as music is like a social positioning of I'm this human and I'm this type of person because I'm sophisticated because I listen to classical or jazz, and I'm rebellious because I listen to punk or whatever. Don't fuck that. Just enjoy what you enjoy, and don't be conservative in terms of allowing yourself to enjoy other things. Like there's usually, even within subgenres or genres that you think you hate, there's probably some quality music in there that's worth listening to, and I should probably take that advice even now because I write off 90% of modern chart music because I think it's garbage. But I'm sure there's actually some good stuff out there like that. Olivia Rodriguez, she has one song that I like. Maybe there's more stuff there that's good. I don't know.
Yeah. I think for
I'm
my
gonna shut up.
I think for myself, if I had to give any advice to my younger self, is just be open to all genres. Don't stick to one thing. Explore, explore all your possibilities, and all the different music is out there. And also, as like a personal thing, just don't give up. Don't
Mm.
give up. Keep practicing, because I played drums a little bit as a kid, and then I just stopped, just for whatever reasons as a kid, and just growing up and into my early adult years, and you know battling with mental illness, and then coming back to music and drums and really finding my purpose there. And then just exploring all the different things that I can do with drums and music has just um, had a tremendous effect on just my mind, in terms of musical knowledge and just mental health as well. So just don't give up, keep learning, and keep practicing and keep playing music.
You do
Yeah.
great work on all these tracks, JJ. Seriously, like they are. Your drum parts are mint.
Yeah,
They're
thank you
very
very
good.
much.
They're very good.
They're better live, because I try to change it up live as well. I don't just
Ooh.
play to the track, just statically. I like to branch out a little bit and just try something different live. And yeah,
Hey
a lot of
man,
fun.
that's a great idea because it'll always keep the sets fresh and yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great
Mm.
idea. I can't
I
wait to
think
see it.
I'd say
thank
as
you very
well,
much.
the path to success or any success or whatever you deem as success for yourself or your project, it's lined with failure. Like the difference when the apprentice and the master is the master's failed a million times
Yeah.
and the apprentice hasn't. And when I was a later comer to actually performing and playing music in life, because I thought the musicians just sprouted out of the ground as these godlike entities that were just amazing. And it's like, no, you got to suck for a long time and keep sucking, and then gradually you can hide how much you suck with maybe your hair on stage by circle headbanging, and people think that you can actually perform and play.
That was
It's
some real
it.
Yoda shit right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey. There's some Star Wars up here, so
Oh, there you go.
we're big Star Wars fans in this family.
Nice.
I think
Well,
just
were.
I shut up. I still am. I think just to bridge off what JJ was saying a little bit further, is that like I look at my musical progression. If you've seen photos, early sets of what we were
I've never
doing, I
seen
was
photos.
playing bass for tracks, and Craig really pushed me to be the utility man when it came to joining the band, and that was learning how to play Tadbaki and learning how to play bass, and really fine tuning. And there was a level of arrogance that came from myself, which was like, I can just learn it and then I can just do it. But if you don't hone your craft, if you don't practice and practice effectively, because it's one thing just sitting at home and playing and doodling and doing everything like that, but having that effective practice really will then allow you to then blossom and become better and write better, and listening and listening to what you're playing. um, it took a reapproach to how I practiced each and every night, because it wasn't effective. And it's similar to like going into the gym. When you're going there and you're working out and you're doing anything, or anything that's sports related, you have to finite, you have to hone in on your craft and areas, techniques, and everything like that. So if I could speak to myself from 10 years ago when I was in high school and I was playing and I picked up guitar again, I would say practice the little things, because one percenters will make you who you are later in life.
Man, I could not agree more with that, especially with the sports analogy. Like athletes are just artists,
Yeah,
fit artists. That's all they are. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
100%.
they do exactly the same thing that any good musician will do, and that's practice and learn all the little things and learn off their peers and take good advice and really hone their craft to be that 1% different.
I'd
Yeah.
say as well, like having a regimented, because I'm stupidly regimented with my practice, but also there was a guy who played with us for a little while, Jake. I never watched the full documentary, but it was Dave Grohl, and it was called Play. And just it had where he just walks into a jam room, a studio, and he just plays. And in general, to have a playful attitude to different instruments, or even again trying an instrument you're not familiar with, like it can open up new creative possibilities. And just again being playful in the sense of just where will this take me? And even if you are just serving yourself in terms of, I don't know, half these songs were literally written by the fact I was like, I don't know how to play this fucking technique. I'm going to try and figure out the technique, and then make it sound nice, and then, oh shit, now there's a song being born out of one little idea that then blossoms, which, again, actually two-thirds of this band wouldn't sound even interesting or good if it wasn't for the collaborations of other people who come in there and go, I can take this little idea and expand it. But yeah, be playful.
We had a jazz drummer for a period of time when we were playing, that brought
that was
extra elements into the band, and, expanded out, the way that we thought about how the music was played as well. So yeah, I think taking influences from everywhere and just listening. It's just listening. People talk too much and talk over, and they're not actually absorbing what's being said. So,
Like me talking too much in this song.
Hey, no way. We love it. We're going to wrap it up, but because you guys need to get to practice
Yes,
for this
we do.
weekend's, for this Friday's Ram It Down Fest.
Yeah.
We can't wait for this. I'm going to be out there, probably working the door and doing a lot of filming as well. So you'll be seeing another gig review coming back out for that. Guys, give a big wave.
Oh, can we say one thing?
Man, 100% you can.
Massive thanks to Lance and Cassie for reinventing what Ram It Down is. Obviously, it was going to be Iron Spokes beforehand, but they've really embodied what we want to do out here in the West as well, which is bring music to our local communities. It fucking sucks trying to get from here to the city, so we know why a lot of people don't end up coming out to Newtown, to Sydney shows, or wherever it might be for that factor. But I know for us, we've been wanting to build a community out here for the last 12 to 18 months, and to have people like themselves to actually come forth, put in the time, put in the effort, bring all these musicians together, to work together to find places so we can play, and then put the promotion, bring people like yourself in to be able to promote it even further. From the utmost thanks, we really appreciate Lance,
Absolutely.
Cassie, and yourself for giving us a platform to be able to express ourselves and express our music. Without you, we would just be another band on Spotify.
Oh, man, see, this is what I'm talking about. I love that. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I can't wait to see you guys out at this thing. I'm going to drag my kids along. I don't know if they'll be up that late. They're pretty young, but they're going to be seeing a couple of bands. Guys, this is an all-ages event. Lance has done some big work putting this on. Lance Cassie has done very big work putting this on. All ages. Kids under 12 get in free. It's $10, I think, or $15 at the door.
Yeah, 10,
10
yeah.
$10 or $15 at the door. And, man, I'll be there. You can come see me, get a photo with me. We'll do some mad stuff. You can come watch me film some stuff, get in a video. It's going to be an awesome night with some great bands. We have T-Rex Autopsy, Systems Persist. Oh, God, I can't talk.
Symptoms persist.
Yeah, Systems Persist. Blackened Rose. Scholar of Sin, Witch Diana, and I can't read this last one.
War rages within.
War Rages Within. That's a bit small on my screen, sorry.
That's all right.
Guys, get out to it. It's going to be a
Thanks
cracking
again, mate.
night. Give everyone a wave. Lance, you are the man. T-Rex Autopsy, thank you for taking the time for today. I love you.
And thank
guys.
you for the
Thanks for having
opportunity.
us.
Guys,
Thanks
you
for
keep
letting me
doing what
waffle.
you're doing. I'm going to keep listening to it. Keep it real, everyone. I'll talk to you later. Don't go anywhere, boys. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you this Friday at Ram It Down Fest. Take it easy, y'all.